Hey everyone, my name is Rooster, and welcome back to Mechabellum. I've got quite a special replay for you guys today, as it is not going to be myself who's playing. In fact, it is Sarah here up against Metra Peters on the red side. And, well, sadly I stumbled upon this game on round 2, so I do not have the full replay, but I can get you guys up to speed as to what I believe happened. You've got Sarah here on the blue side with Aerial Specialist, who started with Fangs and Sledgehammers. You can see the Sledgehammers here, and the Fangs were probably positioned in this fashion. So triple Fang start, double Fangs purchased on round 1. Metra Peters, on the other hand, is a Sabertooth specialist who started with triple Hound and double Mustang, added 2 crawlers on the right side here. And round number 2, we have a Rhino Assault pickup for Metra Peters in the far back left, and we have an intensive training picked up by Sarah, who leveled up one of the Sledgehammers here on the right. 2 Fangs are purchased on the outskirts to kind of try and cover flanks and perhaps, slow down a Rhino if it happened to fall down. And that's where we start. We've got a triple Fang pickup even, with 1 spawn in on the shallow flank, and already you can see this game is some craziness, right? Bells need to start ringing here for Metra Peters that he is facing Fang carry, but the weird thing is, the one thing that his starting pack is good into would be Fangs. I think Hound Mustang is one of the worst openers in the game, as it just really does not do well against almost everything. But it does do well against Fangs. Hounds can one-shot them, Mustangs are good into them because of their fast attack speed, so they can switch targets very rapidly, and you can kind of see what kind of effect it has. Metra Peters is doing very well in the early game. He easily clears the right side, the Rhino there, perhaps not even necessary, but will get a tower debuff. And whilst Sarah is, quite heavily favored on the left side, it doesn't matter when you lose without taking down anything on the right side of the board. So that's how we kind of start. And this is already where the craziness begins, because who in their right mind would try and play Fangs into existing Mustangs and Hounds, right? You are really not doing yourself a favor. The other crazy thing is, on this round, we have a shield airdrop for Sarah and an improved firepower control system picked up from Metra Peters. Very, very quick round, by the way, by both players here. And Sarah decides to pick up Mechanical Rage first. Now, this is already weird, because typically when you go Fang carry, the flowchart would be round 2, you pick up range, so that your Fangs stay safe. Hopefully they can kill some units and get some levels. Levels are very important for Fangs, because once they get to level 2, level 3, they won't bother with armor as much anymore, and they will really be able to DPS and even chaff clear things like crawlers. Now, Mechanical Rage is good, but your Fangs are still sitting at 75 meters of range, and they tend to just kind of run into their death. So that's, where we leave off. There's no range as of yet on the Hounds or the Mustangs from Metra Peters. But yeah, the Fangs are completely crazy here. There's a lot more on the field as well than you would perhaps expect. Typically, you would try and, grab range, maybe get some levels, as I mentioned, and start working at building some tanks, some frontline to keep your Fangs alive. You can see on the right side, it's, an absolute nightmare, and Metra Peters wins quite convincingly yet again. Takes down the tower. There are some Fangs stuck on the leveled tower from Metra Peters there. We'll eventually take them down, perhaps clear a couple of Mustang, but that's about all she wrote. And Metra Peters is in a very comfortable spot, at least from the looks of things. Now, round number 4, and we do get some unit reinforcements. We have a level 3 Stormcaller pickup for Metra Peters and a FIREBADGER pickup from Sarah. Now, the Stormcaller here gets sold, which I think is a mistake, because I believe that the Stormcaller actually is worth less, because you typically have to pay for it, whereas the FIREBADGER you don't have to pay for, since it has a free unlock cost. So a bit weird, but perhaps a misclick there. Looks like Sarah, though, will opt to keep the FIREBADGER. It's in the corner here. There is an intensive available too, and more FIREBADGERs are getting picked up. We have field maintenance now on FIREBADGERs. Now, this is where things already start getting even more crazy, because when have you ever seen FIREBADGERs tank for Fang carry? I certainly haven't. And on the other side, things are looking quite normal. Range on the Hounds, range on the Mustang. Now, I don't necessarily think range was necessary on the Hounds here. Typically, you should be fine just playing Mustangs, especially when the opponent doesn't have any crawlers, but we'll have to see how this goes. I think Metro Peters is still in a very comfortable position. Level 4 Fire Badger thanks to the intensive training, and this will help against the crawler that was picked up on that shallow flank. So the biggest thing here, I guess, is going to be this level 4 Fire Badger with 27,000-ish hit points per Badger plus healing. Left side still struggling, for sure. And perhaps Fangs here will be able to pick up some levels. I guess that would be the best case scenario for Sarah. But still, the right side just really doesn't seem to get things done. That Sabertooth from Metro Peters helping out with the Fire Badgers, but honestly, the Mustangs are crushing. 72,000 damage in just that round, thanks to the improved firepower control system. And now we're into round number 5, and nothing here looks that insane. I guess the enhancement module could have been picked up. I mean, Sarah does have intensive training, but decides to skip and wants to get as much money as possible to be able to finally pick up range on the Fangs. Again, here you can see he's only managed to pick up a level on one Fang. He's definitely behind curve. You would already want to have most of your Fangs level 2 at this point, but that's what picking up early mech rage tends to do. Now, on round 5, Metro Peters decides to invest in armor enhancement, which I really like. If you look at the armor enhancement, it will block 120 damage. The level 1 Fangs deal 70, which is just not enough, and the Fire Badgers are absolutely horrible against armor. I mean, even the level 4 Fire Badger here can only deal 5 damage against the level 2 Armored Hounds. It is just really, really bad. So, as you can see on this right side, we've got a comical stalemate between the Fire Badgers and the Hounds, but these Mustangs can chip in, and the level 2 Sabertooth is happily going to oblige and take down those high-level Fire Badgers. So, things are not looking too good. We have a big stalemate here on the left as well, which was Sarah's strong side. And again, Metro Peters kind of running away with it. Slowly but steadily, Sarah is losing a ton of hit points on round number 5. I mean, this is looking like it'll end on round 6 or 7 if it keeps going this way. I mean, just look at that. Round 6 and 1,400 hit points remaining with Metro Peters still on full health. Round number 6, nothing really special happens. I think a nano repair kit got picked up for that Sabertooth, but that's about it. Levels on the Hounds, levels on the Fangs now available, and the third tech has suddenly been picked up alongside attack enhancement too. So AP Fangs all of a sudden have 117 damage. So now level 1 Fang gets close to being able to kill the Hounds, or at least deal damage to the level 2 Hounds. The level 2 Fangs certainly are capable of doing so, 234. However, they will struggle against these level 3 Hounds, which block 180. More Fire Badgers show up, which is an interesting way to deal with these Hounds in the back. Now, these Fangs will damage them, but it will still take quite a long time. And in the meantime, the Rhino is back, and the towers are quite open. We have loans purchased for both players as they seem to realize that this game might be over very soon. And yeah, here we go. Rhino gets it dropped next to the Fire Badgers there. The Hounds spawn in, a Crawler has been added, and this could lead to another debuff, although this tower has been leveled, which perhaps will help Sarah. But what won't help is that still, the Hounds and Mustangs are absolutely crushing. Level 3 on most of them. Quickly managing to get through all of these units, and it's looking like another dominant round for Metro Peters. Not quite lethal, but as I said, round 7 could very well seal the deal. There we go. Sarah down to 331 hit points as we enter round number 7 with another unit drop. Now here we have to look very carefully at what the options are. This is always a good thing to do when you're in this type of position, and especially when you're ahead. Metro Peters is winning here, and he decides to snap pick the Rhinos. Now, Rhinos are very good against things like Fire Badgers and Fangs. They also have access to armor, but at this point, armor has already been picked up on the Hounds. So the question is, do you really need it? Looking at the other things that are offered, Steel Ball is in the mix as well. Steel Ball also has access to armor, but it counters the Rhino. Scorpion is available too, which could counter the Steel Balls. It's not great into Rhino, but you know, you could pick that up if you want to, or if you expect your opponent to pick up Steel Ball. But Metro Peters here picks the Rhino, which, considering the other options, I find a little bit odd. He immediately goes for the armor there. And in the meantime, we can see on the other side, the steel balls are picked up. And they're pretty well lined up with where the rhinos are too. Armor on both sides. Again, steel ball has it as well, but it has a good matchup against the rhino. Not the other way around. More fang levels here, as we are starting to get most of them to level 2. And triple rhino pickup for Maître Peters, who now has 5 rhinos with, I mean, 64,000 hit points apiece, but there are some steel balls which might be able to take those down. Let's have a look at how this round will go. Temp range picked up, temp speed, of course, lone is important at this stage because, I mean, all Maître Peters needs to do is win one round, but steel balls are in such a good spot here. You can see one steel ball even turning here will eventually lock on and kill that rhino. The ones on this side not doing too well, but a level 1's able to even take down a level 2 rhino on the left side, and meanwhile the right side is pushing in because remember, it has armor. And Mustangs are absolutely awful at dealing with armored units. Granted, these Mustangs do have an improved firepower control system, but you know, 120 damage there gets blocked, and these ones without the item deal almost 0 damage. So, not a fantastic round. And it does mean that Sarah will live at least for one more round. Not the end of the deal, though, because Maître Peters has 5,000 hit points and ample time to try and answer this, but definitely perhaps a bit too quick of a pick on the unit drop round there. Round number 8. We see advanced defensive tactics offered. Both players happy to pick up an intensive, though. That's the second one for Sarah, and steel balls are being leveled immediately. 2 level 3 steel balls, intensive use to make another level 2. And Sarah here is playing rather quickly. Putting down some shields. This is quite important because there is Final Blitz available on the rhinos. Now, Final Blitz, the way it works is that if it explodes outside the shield will just tank the blast. And here what Sarah is doing is kind of making sure that the rhinos won't be able to get underneath the shield where they would be able to kind of explode all of the other units. It also blocks missiles pretty well because this is very greedy positioning where the fangs are vulnerable to being missiled. Speaking of missiles, we also have those being purchased by Sarah. We have 2 missiles. I'm kind of surprised that there's a double missile there. 3, 4, 5 missiles being used here to kill all the crawlers and get some insta-locks. In the meantime, though, some weird plays coming out here with rhinos on the flanks for Maître Peters facing those FIREBADGERS, but those fangs are level 3 and they deal 351 damage, meaning that this should not be able to survive that long, right? Only 60 of that gets blocked. The fangs likely will just shred that. So, not the most powerful round, and I was kind of expecting Maître Peters to go into Scorpion here, but perhaps he really wants to make rhinos work. I mean, I do get it. It's a fun unit, and buying more rhinos can be very, very addicting. But yeah, it looks like on those flanks, the armor has been dealt with. The high-level fangs with the triple tech, the double attack enhancement are able to get through, and in the meantime, nothing has really been done about these high-level steel balls. They still have armor. The Mustangs are getting stuck on them. Debuff is going to be happening, and that's another round lost for Maître Peters. He's not going to take that much damage because at the end of the day, it is Fang carry without things like, you know, Fortress. But he is being chipped away at, and now he's down to 3k hit points. Response needs to be purchased. And round number 9, Wraith shows up. Nothing here really loves to deal with high-level steel balls, so that's not being offered, but the Wraith could be useful, and both players pick it up. Wraith is also quite scary because it has access to things like armor, which I guess Maître Peters doesn't have. Both players will go for Degen Beam first, and there is an item available here for Maître Peters with the Nano Repair Kit on the Wraith. The thing is, though, Fangs tend to have higher DPS output, or at least tend to be able to get through armor a lot quicker than something like a Mustang. So, in terms of, you know, dealing with tanky units, Sarah is definitely in a better spot. You've got more Wraith now being picked up for match repeaters. But they're only level 1, which if the fangs manage to connect with them, they will disappear very, very quickly. Nothing else really happening. We do get more steel balls being added here behind those fire badgers to try and deal with the rhinos. Shields being layered, missiles again being used. It's quite expensive, but I mean, match repeaters doesn't have that much chaff, and if Sarah gets rid of 4 crawler packs at round start, that's definitely going to help him and his fangs connect to the correct targets. Left side here, we can also see a steel ball kind of aiming towards this rhino. And now, I mean, things could get a bit scary because this Wraith, especially if armor ever gets picked up, doesn't have a proper answer from match repeaters. And on top of that, he doesn't have a great answer to the balls. Now, having said that, this Mustang pack is absolutely shredding. Level 4, plus the degen beam, it's able to get through the armored steel balls. But it doesn't do so quickly enough. And in the meantime, the fangs have killed the Wraith, and now there's a level 3 Wraith advancing. It doesn't have any tank techs for the time being, but it's good enough to be able to get through. Steel balls will kill the remainder of the Rhino. And again, another round here goes towards Sarah. And this is where things get a bit scary, because as I mentioned, armor isn't really a threat anymore to Sarah. The fangs deal too much damage to be able to really care. Match repeaters, though, needs to have something that can kill the Wraith, because armor could get picked up at any point, and at the same time, he also needs something that could deal with the steel balls. Now you've got 2 problems that need solving. Of course, you could try and buy something like a boat, but boats aren't exactly that good into fangs, and I mean, there's a high likelihood that they will get taken down quite quickly with how high level the fangs are getting. Round number 10, absorption module shows up. Fantastic item for high level Wraith, so, you know, bit of luck there perhaps for Sarah, as he does manage to pick up a good item himself, whereas before it was only match repeaters with the nano repair kit. And, I mean, that's a double intensive, level 4 steel balls, level 4 Wraith as well. Missile strike picked up there, trying to kill a fang pack. I don't think there's too much to be done here. That steel ball, way too high level, will be able to take down a rhino, so not quite sure what will happen with this. More missiles being expended, of course, by Sarah, and now we see steel balls being purchased as a response by match repeaters. I am not a big fan of this. We only see the absorption picked up for now. There is money potentially for range, but steel ball into steel ball, I don't like that much. Again, the problem here is the fangs have high DPS output, and there's not even armor being clicked on the steel balls for now, which means that they will get shredded, not just by the steel balls from Sarah, but by the fangs as well. Shields are being picked up too. Bunch of levels, and it doesn't look like range will get picked up. Now the steel balls. I mean, the rhinos are just gone. Relegated to being steel ball and fang food. Steel balls did alright, but it's not amazing. I mean, you can see the high-level steel balls here. I mean, even, you know, without the techs, there's a massive level disadvantage there for match repeaters. So going into that mirror is a little scary. The hounds are very high level, I will say. They've got triple techs at this point. They're doing relatively well, but there is this anti-air problem to deal with, and the Wraith is going nowhere. The anti-air has died, and so suddenly we're in round number 10. And things are basically even. Even more than that, Sarah has 331 hit points and match repeaters is down to 69. Very nice. Or perhaps not, because that is down from 5,100 multiple rounds ago, when it looked like the game was all but over. Now we have Storm picked up as well. Now this seems like a quite potent spell pickup for match repeaters. If he can clear the shields, which he should be able to do, then this will be able to kill most of the fangs on that side of the board, which should help out tremendously. More Wraith will now get purchased by Sarah. And in the meantime, this Mustang is level 5. It's not that high level, I guess, for round 11. And what else is being done here? There's 1450 in the bank still for Maitre Peters. And he's going to opt to go for more Wraith. Elite recruited by the looks of things. And perhaps he's eyeing another tech. Now, Wraith can be quite good into Fang carry. But at this point, it is a little bit sketchy, right? Like, this is very, very far down the line, and the Fangs are properly scaled. It's a lot more easy when you buy the Wraith early, and you can kind of bully the Fangs and make sure that they don't level too much. Range gets picked up as a second tech. There's no armor as of yet on that Wraith. So, perhaps a saving grace here for Maitre Peters. He might be able to close things as the spell is available. Rhino being sold, I thought maybe a boom Rhino here would be picked up just to kind of kill the shields instantly. But yeah, look at that. All the Fangs have disappeared on the right side. And now all that's left really is a couple of steel balls severely injured and, well, most of them dead by this point. And then the Mustangs and that high-level Wraith. So the right side seems to be very much in favor of Maitre Peters. Doesn't need to keep too much alive. If you can keep that one Wraith plus a couple Mustangs, you're looking at 450 damage. He needs 331. Got a couple level 3 Fangs in there, though, and a ball pack as well, which won't be too easy to take out. And they are trying to go towards the tower. Won't get there. No debuff as of yet, but a couple smart Fangs do manage to find the target. And with that, the Wraith goes down. And because the Wraith goes down, Sarah is still alive at 161 hit points. I thought the game would end for sure, but it doesn't. We go to round number 12, and Ion Blast shows up. Both players here will pick it. And oh man, I mean, this is just such a roller coaster. Who will win? Another spell, which will be able to take down the Fangs. But a spell as well that could take down a whole bunch of Hounds and perhaps even some Mustangs, although I don't think they get that far forward. Rhinos, again, being sold. And now the Wraith is level 6. And I mentioned this, and I was quite afraid of it. Armor has been picked up. Sarah has realized that the anti-air, for the time being, right up until this point for Maitre Peters, has been the Mustangs. And now we're looking at a Wraith that can tank 360 damage per instance. That is only slightly less than this level 6 Mustang can put out. Now, of course, there is Degen Beam involved, which might be able to make those guys kill the Wraith, but it's gonna have to come from this Wraith, which is now triple teched, as 8 gun has been picked up as well, and the Mustang, or else it's a disaster. Keep in mind, it also has the absorption module, so even though the Ion Blast will likely, you know, shred it, or deal some damage to it, it may be able to heal back up, and constant damage will be the name of the game for Maitre Peters. Beacon being employed here as well to try and dodge part of the Ion Blast. And, I mean, let's just see how this game ends. Round 12, it has to be it. Both players on such low hit points. The Ion Blast doesn't even hit that much by the looks of things. Does kill a couple of Fangs, but the steel balls mostly dodge it. And now it's down to this absolute monster of a Wraith. Degen Beam does seem to help, but look at the healing that this is outputting. And a couple Fangs managed to take down the high-level Wraith, which means that the Degen Beam has disappeared, at least from the right side. The left still has one Wraith, but oh my days. This thing just doesn't die. The absorption module allows it to kill the Mustangs. And with that, Sarah has managed to make, I mean, what is just an absolutely incredible comeback right up until round 12. This game looked all but done soon after I joined it. But I'm happy that I stuck around because, wow, that was something else. What a crazy game, crazy positioning. I've never seen FIREBADGERS being played with Fangs. And honestly, it didn't really work right up until round 7 when we had this round. And this has happened to me tons and tons of times. I do it, you know, way too often still, even after thousands of hours. But it's crucial to get these rounds right with the unit drops. And in order to do that, you need to ask yourself, what is my opponent going to build? What is my opponent's out in this situation? And here, I think Metro Peter should have realized that, hey, Steel Ball is offered. It pairs well with the Fangs. It counters the Rhinos. And honestly, it has kind of the same purpose. It also has access to armor. So why not pick that? Another option could be to pick the Scorpion here because Fire Badgers were available. But I think, you know, you either pick one of these. Going Rhino is far too risky, and you kind of have to think, what is the way that my opponent wins? Because right up until now, Metro Peters was winning quite handily, right? So what would be problematic? Now, we could go Steel Balls first here. I kind of tried to play for armor ourselves. I think that loaning here is definitely the way to go. And then we could just buy some Steel Balls here and there. Let's maybe try and do it this way. Sell that Saber. We don't need that. We can use this on one of the Steel Balls, and then we can buy more Steel Balls ourselves. Perhaps kind of line them up with all of the other units here. I wonder if it'd be good to perhaps put a Crawler there. I'm a bit afraid of this getting insta-locked, but more Steel Balls does make sense as well. Maybe just kind of spread them out like this. Temp range seems like a good pickup. And then maybe we go for some missiles to take out the units. Let's see how that goes. There is a shield right there. Let's see. Of course, the armor here also does quite well into the enemy Fangs, although the Fangs can slowly get through, but it buys some time. And as you can see, at least you're able to deal with the Steel Balls here, and it kind of has the same effect again as the Rhinos would have had. Left side, though, does get a bit toasted as the Mustangs end up going down. The right side is managing to get in slowly but steadily. Oh, this Fire Badger, though, survives barely. Perhaps I needed to put another ball over there. It does look like it's not quite enough. I think if we put it elsewhere, though, we might be able to block this Fire Badger. I'm quite certain we would be able to. So this would have been a round loss, regardless. I have actually tried this before with the same play. I guess the crucial aspect here is to try and get a Steel Ball to block this Badger specifically, because that was a bit unfortunate there with the Mustang dying. But you can definitely win this with Steel Balls. Another option would be to pick up the Scorpion, which I haven't really tried, but it does seem like another good option. In that case, the Rhinos would be somewhat scary, but I feel like picking Rhino here, or expecting Rhino to be picked when Steel Ball is available, is a little bit sketchy. But, you know, we'd have to see. So let's say we do something like this. I think I would sell that. And then we could even buy level 2 Scorpions here if we really want to. Line them up perhaps with this Fire Badger. Perhaps with this as well. I think a loan is in place. Temp range, of course, would be good as well. Perhaps we just put the higher level Scorpions on that side of the board. Could put a nano repair kit on that as well. And we even have money for another Scorpion, so rather luxurious, I would say. Perhaps we do things like so. I'm a bit afraid of this Fang, though. There's no armor, obviously, on this Scorpion, so it might end up dying, but let's see. The Fang output is really high, and there's no armor available on this Scorpion. Perhaps I should have put it behind the Hounds. That definitely would have been a better play, in my opinion. Steel Ball here does lock on. It doesn't quite fire at the Steel Ball in time, so not ideal there. And one Fire Badger is still alive. Can we save that Mustang some way, somehow? I think I definitely messed up on the right side. It's tricky to make sure that the Fangs don't lock on. So this would have not been a round win either. But long term, you would have been in a much better spot, as now you're playing Scorpions into Fire Badgers and Steel Balls. Now, the scary aspect of this is that you're still up against, you know, very high-level Fangs, but you would be able to probably stabilize this because your matchup is that much better, right? The Rhinos, once they don't work, are kind of irredeemable, and they will never be strong enough. So that's kind of what I would try to do. Now, of course, I know I lost the 2 rounds, so it's actually quite tricky, but it shows you. how annoying it actually can be to finish someone off in this situation. You could have won this. I know you can because I tried it with the steel balls. You probably have to just put a steel ball a little bit further back so it's a bit safer and ends up blocking this fire badger and taking it down. If you can do that, then you should be able to win. This probably can win as well. I should put this scorpion likely behind the hound in this case, so that it can tank for a little bit longer. It's a bit exposed, and ideally you'd have more crawlers to try and cover. But yeah, I mean, crazy game. I wanted to showcase it. I hope that you liked it. If you did, please leave a thumbs up. Let me know down below what you thought of it. Have you ever seen something quite like this? I mean, even that round 11 was bonkers. So thanks to both players for providing this content. Yeah, absolutely crazy stuff. And if you liked this video, please leave a thumbs up. If you want to stay up to date with my latest content, please consider subscribing. And if you want to see me play live, check me out on Twitch. With that being said, take care, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.